Hi guys, and welcome to your daily tarot reading for Saturday the 23rd of July 2022. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to use the Golden Girls tarot cards for this reading. Let's see what these cards have to say about Saturday and what energy you'll be working with. So I'm just going to shuffle the cards a few times here, and then I'm going to choose three to see what is coming up here. So let's have a look. Okay, so the first card is in here. The Four of Wands. Okay, happy, good times. We've got Sophia, and I don't know who the man is, but the Four of Wands is about celebration and weddings. So they're having a great time there. Next, we've got the Queen of Swords. Okay. And finally, the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so what I get here is that a doorway opens up by the Four of Wands, a new opportunity for learning, because the Queen of Swords and Dorothy, the substitute teacher, she's about the intellect and education. So if you jump on this opportunity to educate yourself, you'll be able to learn something that, when integrated, can change the course of your life. So the more you know on this day, the better. Okay, the Four of Wands is the fourth card in the suit of Wands, which is the element of fire, and that has to do with life purpose and passion. And I always say that the Four of Wands is the happiest card in the deck because it really is a combination of life purpose, fire. This is something that I want to do. It's about relationship and kind of having that moment where, you can make plans and set goals for the future, but whether the world and the universe is going to meet you halfway, that's not guaranteed. And let's say Sophia here, she says, do you know what? One of my things in life that are important to me is that I meet my soulmate and that I get married and start a family. And here she actually, well, whether these two are getting married or they're just friends, or I don't know. It's not guaranteed that you then actually find that soulmate. That's something that the world or your experience kind of provides for you. You can try and manifest it, and you can think positively and all of those things, but sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't. And that's why I like the Four of Wands, because it's the combination of your will and what you'd like to happen, and then your experience actually delivering that. And that's something none of us have control over. And it's the meeting point here in the Four of Wands that I see as such a happy event, because it's everything coming together to work out perfectly. Then four is about structure and security. So this is the beginning of something new. So it's the wedding, and it signals a long-term marriage that's going to work for both people, and both of them are happy in this relationship. And then the way the wands are kind of set up here, it creates a doorway. So it's the promise of a future that's even better than the present moment. And it's a fresh start, and it's taking that first step towards something delightful and amazing. So here we've also got these flowers at the top. So it's a moment worth celebrating. It's a special opportunity. It's a special day. It's a special kind of moment for you to be. Especially if you look back on it, you say, okay, this was the moment where everything good started out for me. So this is worth taking note of and saying, I'm going to celebrate this hour or this day or this couple of minutes, because that's when I had the eureka moment or the certainty to learn something new, to broaden my horizons, and to stumble across info, which then allowed me to change the course of my life and to do things completely differently. And that certainly, like if you're an aerospace engineer and you're very successful and you love that job, it's your dream job, then looking back on the moment when you discovered that you wanted to do that, that is a moment worth celebrating. And that's what's coming up for you today. Something like this, the penny drops, you're like, I'm passionate about a particular subject, or you read something and it grabs your attention and you're like, oh, I didn't notice this before. Truman Capote wrote In Cold Blood, I think in the 60s. And it's this, he invented a whole new genre. He invented literary journalism. And the way he came across the whole thing was he was reading the paper, and there was a tiny little article about the Clutter family who'd been murdered in their home. I think it was in Kansas. And something about that struck him, and he went over there and interviewed people, and he wrote a whole novel about this thing, and it changed the landscape of what writing was about. So it's a moment like that where the world and something within you, they connect, they communicate, and it's worth celebrating because it starts something completely different. And because we've got Dorothy here as the Queen of Swords, it either has to do with education. We've got these kind of official looking school buildings in the background. So educating yourself, or even discovering, I am an expert in a particular field. I mean, she's the school teacher after all. And I'm going to take my experience and knowledge and I'm going to teach it. So either I'm going to write the book, and this is the moment I realized that, or I'm going to write the self-help online course, or I'm going to become a teacher, or I'm going to set up my own university, or I'm going to express my experience and views and specialist expert knowledge on this particular field. And it's this moment of recognition that actually I'm the boss of this element, which is air, communication, and perspective. So I'm really an expert in this field. I've either been through it or I've studied it. So I get to talk about it. I get to teach it. And vice versa. This is an area of interest. I get to study it. I get to sign up for a course. I get to deepen my understanding of this particular subject because I understand that it's a real passion of mine. And that's the eureka moment where things click into place. And by letting that happen today, we then get to the Wheel of Fortune, which is the 10th card in the major arcana, a crossroads, and it means you're going to go in a different direction in future. And we've got the elements outside of the wheel, the sun, the solar plexus, and it means that self-will trumps the elements of planet Earth every single time. So if you find the inner direction, then the world will allow you to move into that direction. You're the boss. And again, that's been a theme lately, that you define your life. You don't let your life define you. You get to say who you are and what you do and what your story is. You don't have to let circumstances or other people define you. So we're really in the season of the individual here, the person who is writing their own story, the season of the author, the person who creates the narrative, rather than someone who takes up a part in a story and decides to live that. Wow, okay. So we've got all these different symbols in the middle, so you get to choose whether you move up here or down here, or whether you focus on writing or understanding your relationships more, or your work or your life purpose. Everything is available to you, but I think fundamentally it's by deciding what it is you want to learn or where you already are an expert that then allows you to move in a different direction. And I feel it changes absolutely everything in your life, the way you work, the way you feel about your daily experience, the way you see things which may seem unrelated. You know, like for instance, you're unhappy and you're grumpy or something, and then you change your job from one that you don't enjoy to something you really love and do enjoy. It may seem unrelated, but suddenly you become much more friendly to other people, even though other people have nothing to do with your job. But because something that's made you unhappy has now been lifted, your perspective changes in an area of life that seems to be so totally separate. So you don't know what taking control of one thing in your life is going to impact. And this card is saying it's going to impact absolutely everything and make absolutely everything better. So the minor arcana card is a temporary influence. The court card is a certain personality trait or a person. And the major arcana card is a major life theme, right? So the opportunity here is to go find this doorway to walk through in terms of what you're passionate about. And it meets this inner thing that's highlighted, which says, I'm willing to learn, I'm willing to change, I'm willing to see things differently. And that's all you really need to become the author of your own story here. Okay, number-wise, we've got 4, and 1 is 5, and 10 is 15. 1 and 5 is 6, and 6 is similar to this. It's a temporary opportunity. So this is a chance that comes along on this day. Jump on it, see what interests you, what you do want to learn about, or where you're the boss, the expert, and see how you can use that to then have a very different experience. So I hope you have a great day. If you'd like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. On the front page, click on book your reading to audio reading with me. If you like this video, then give it a thumbs up. Please hit subscribe and share the video online. Have an amazing day, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.